In my last video, I shared with you guys the 5 best drop spots from the brand new season, and a lot of you guys were commenting on that video asking me to now show you what the meta is in this current season, so that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to be explaining both the meta for ranked and competitive playlists so you guys know exactly how to play and be the most successful in the brand new season. If you do enjoy this video, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe, as only around 3% of you are actually subscribed to the channel. Feel free to check out my Twitch where we stream regularly on Fortnite playing different ranks with viewers and other stuff like that. Without further ado, let's get straight on into the video. So firstly, I wanted to start off by talking about the ranked meta for this season. Now I know a lot of you are going to anticipate exactly what I'm going to say, but it is genuinely mainly just cars. Now in general, it is pretty much all centered around the mythic car, as this is extremely OP. We know that landing at a place like Redline Rig allows you to get this mythic car, and then the mythic car has so much health which regens, and you can pretty much drive around and just abuse the turret, and it is an insane way to get kills in ranked and also gain ranking progress. So as we know, the cars are very OP. If you guys have played a ranking game this season, you'll know that it is pretty much just car wars straight up, with the occasional bit of fighting depending on whether it's an early game spawn fight where you don't have to involve cars, but apart from that, most of the mid and end games is just the mythic car running around destroying people. So obviously you do get that benefit if you do land Redline Rig and get the mythic car. However, what we do know is that the medallions also change places every game in ranked. Obviously in competitive, the medallions stay the same. We will come to that later on in the video, but in ranked, the medallions can actually move around. For example, sometimes the ranked medallion from Redline Rig can move to locations in the north of the map, or sometimes onto the train. But also what I would like to cover for ranked is the suggested ranked loadout. Now I've asked around my community and found out some suggestions for what you guys think you should be carrying, and this is what I got back. Mainly you want to be carrying obviously one of the 3 shotguns. Now for the main part, this is personal preference. I do believe that the combat shotgun is very strong. However, obviously you do have to hit your shots with it. With that small crosshair placement, it does make it a lot more difficult. So up close, you're most likely going to be more successful in a box with someone than a gatekeeper compared to the combat shotgun. This is just because the gatekeeper has a better bullet spread, so you can just hit them much easier than with a combat shotgun. It's a lot easier to hit your shots with a gatekeeper than a combat, basically. But one slot for your shotgun, I personally like the hammer pump this season, but again, it's all personal preference. Then you want to be holding the boom bow. Now the reason I suggest this is many of you may have seen the Martos clip of where he killed FNCS EU winner from last season, Vanyak, and it is basically you can use the boom bow and a pump as a double pump mechanism, as you can pre-fire with your pump through the wall because you can break a wall with a boom bow. So basically you shoot the wall with a boom bow, it breaks the wall, and you can pre-fire that with a pump, and that is exactly how Martos killed Vanyak. Apart from that, you want 2 slots for heals, and then pretty much always the Nitro fists, as these are the main form of rotation, but obviously you can also use the Nitro splashes if you wish, if you want to abuse the meta a little bit more. But like I say, for ranked, it is mainly a case of just abusing the cars as much as you can, making sure you have adequate heals, and using the new meta items such as the boom bow and Nitro fists. So now I would like to move on to talking about the comp meta for this season. And first off, I'm going to talk about where you want to position yourself in an endgame, as this is always a crucial factor in being successful in tournaments, which we are about to see in the new season, with there being a performance eval cup in only 2 days at the time of me making this video. Now in comp in endgame, it's clear that you want to stay on high layers this season. Now the reason for this is because the team on a height is going to most likely have the infinite ammo medallion. Now this means that they're going to incredibly put loads of pressure down with the infinite ammo onto the teams on the lower layers, meaning you don't really want to be on low ground. Also, with the Nitro fist having that explosive impact and high level of structure damage, they're going to cause havoc on low ground, meaning you most likely don't want to be on low ground, as every team in the lobby is going to be using the Nitro fist to rotate. Now what you want to be doing this season is rotate later than normal. This is to avoid being highly pressured, and again to make sure that if you go to the early front side and you rotate first, your builds are most likely going to be broken by players using the Nitro fist, meaning you're going to lose materials. So just a little tip that you want to keep an eye out this season, making sure you're rotating later than usual. Now like I've said, the infinite ammo medallion team will most likely be on high, and they're going to be looking at the teams on the lowest layers. So how can you actually avoid being looked at? Well, you want to be in an elevated layer, but obviously you want to try and avoid being second height, as this team on height will also look at you. Now, how can you actually avoid being sprayed if you are unfortunately in second height? Well, you tarp directly underneath the team that is on height to avoid them having an angle on you. Now, let's talk about the medallions and mythics, which are in comp this season. So as we know, all the medallions and mythics will actually stay at fixed locations, which is obviously different to ranked. Starting off, we have Redline Rig. Now here you'll find the Machinist Combat AR. This is very OP with an insanely fast fire rate, and the damage per second is crazy. You will also find the Machinist Medallion, which heals you with infinite shield up to 75 shield. So again, this is very OP and will be very effective at trading Storm Surge with other teams, as it allows you to just your shield constantly recharge, and again this could be traded through teammates in a team game mode. Next up we have Brutal Beachhead. Now here you'll find Megalodon. Now Megalodon gives his Nitro Fists, which are again a mythic, and the bonus of these is that they have 5 charges instead of the regular 4. Now this makes them that little bit more OP for rotation when it comes to endgame, and I think this could be really crucial in something like a solo victory cup, so I think maybe a potential good solo victory cup drop spot would be Brutal Beachhead. Now as well as the Nitro Fist, you also get Megalodon's Medallion, which is infinite Nitro. Now not much needs to be said about this because it is crazy OP, and it obviously allows you to go through other players' builds, which we have already seen at the end of some games in Pro Scrims, which is clearly very OP. We then also have the Megalodon Combat Shotgun Mythic, which you get as well, and in saying this is one of the strongest shotguns in the game and definitely something you want to have in your industry, again boosting the chances of this being such a good solo victory drop spot. Finally, we have the Nitro Dome. Now in my opinion this is the most scuffed off spawn fight, but that is because it gives you a very good reward in the form of the Boombo Mythic. Now we know that this is very OP, and again this will be in comp and it won't move, so it will be stuck at the Nitro Dome, but I don't think the Boombo Mythic is quite as good as the other 2 mythic guns which you get at Redline Rig and Brutal Beachhead. However, what is very OP about the Nitro Dome is you do get that infinite ammo medallion. Now this is going to be very OP for whichever team has it in the lobby, as you can effectively choose a team to continue pressuring and basically cause that team to either rotate away from you or put that team out of the lobby. You can also farm insane amount of surge with this medallion and also keep pressure down below from other teams if you are on height. So effectively, if you have this medallion on height in endgame, you're going to make it very difficult for other teams to challenge you. Now the last thing I want to touch on for comp meta is obviously what loadout you want to be carrying in comp. Now we know that what you mainly want is going to be Flowberry Fizz, and again this is because every single season you want the Flowberry Fizz. It's insanely good and makes every single rotation that little bit easier. Ideally you want to have Nitro Fist. Now this is because they are basically katanas from obviously chapter 4, because they are the main form of rotation for this season, and with all of the charges you have 4 charges for a rotation. You combine that with Flowberry Fizz, you have basically an infinite rotation for the moving zones. So they're very OP. If you can't quite find the Nitro Fist, you can always use the Nitro Splashes, which you can use to break through opponents' builds, so they're also very OP. However, again, you want to prioritize using those Nitro Fists for both you and your duo in a team. Always try and carry Fizz if possible, and again try and combine that with the Nitro Fist like we've already mentioned, as this is very helpful for rotations. Apart from that, most of the weapons are going to be very similar with what you carry for ranked, except obviously you want to make sure you're carrying a spray weapon, in my opinion, obviously for your Storm Surge tags, whether this is in Duo Cash Cup or FNCS or even Solo Victory Cup occasionally. You want to make sure you guys have an AR or like a Thunderburst SMG for example to put down pressure. That's all from me in today's video. Please let me know in the comments down below what other videos you would like to see. Thank you very much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you're subscribed. Peace out.